Hey, funnel builders, how are we doing? Mike here from Sell Your Service. I'm really glad that you're joining me here today. This is a live call. So if you are joining live either on Facebook inside the Facebook group, or if you're watching it on YouTube live, you can actually comment and I can see the comments come up on the screen here. I'll have to look away because my monitor's down there and you guys as a camera up here. Today, we are talking about the absolute beginner's guide to marketing funnels. If you've ever thought that you want to get into marketing funnels, you want to sell them, maybe you've thought they might be good for your business, or maybe you've thought that this is something that you want to get into, this is the place where you're going to learn. I've assumed zero prior knowledge so that absolutely anyone can get started. Even if you've never built a website before, I want to take you through the various stages of a funnel and how to sell a marketing funnel. If you build marketing funnels or have built marketing funnels, I want to show you how to start selling them to customers. If you currently build websites and maybe you're like a more traditional marketing agency and you haven't really thought about just the concept of funnels, and I promise you it's not that complex, I'm going to teach you how to transition into that. And if you're literally starting from scratch, I'm going to show you how to start out. So I assume no prior knowledge. This is an absolute beginner's guide. Like I said, you can comment if you're watching the replay. Hello, let me know by commenting beginner in the comments. Even if you're not a beginner, it's still useful just to let me know that people are watching the replay. You can ask questions. Like I said, I'll periodically be checking. I've got a bit of an agenda here that I want to go through. Just the concept of funnels, how we build marketing funnels, how we sell marketing funnels, and actually getting started. That's what we're going to be running through today. Might take half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I don't know. Please drop in and out as you feel, as you see fit. But I'm really glad that you're here with me today. Let me just double check the comments. We've already had a few come in, which is awesome. Hey Beth, awesome. We're glad. I'm good. Thank you so much. And I'm glad I'm doing it as well. So one of the number one it's a complete oxymoron. So I collect a lot of data, but shocking. And one of the most common questions or requests that I have from people is just getting started, which is kind of this area here, right? Now, I know that they want to build marketing funnels and I know that they want to sell marketing funnels for customers, but it's actually just getting started in the first place. So, a kind of, we're going to be focusing quite a lot on this area here, and it's not, in my opinion, a strategic or a tactical thing. It's not even necessarily something that you've got to learn. It's usually just a fear-based thing. So we're going to focus on actually getting started. I have found that people who understand the concept of the funnel, people who understand how to build the funnel, even people who understand how to sell the funnel, still are not sure how to get started and just kind of take that leap. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And we're just going to go through it. Please ask questions. I've already had a bunch of questions come in. If you've got a question, put it in the comments and I'll do everything I can to go through them. I'll try and keep an eye on them. And if you're watching the replay and you still have questions, please just go ahead, put them in the comments and I'll get round to them. So let's just talk about the concept of the funnel. I think people overcomplicate this massively. A marketing funnel typically is sort of symbolized like this, right? And most people will have this divided into stages and they essentially see it as traffic at the top and then sales coming out the bottom, right? That's pretty much the most complex form of sorry, the most simple form, and that's actually is about as complex as it gets. We start with traffic at the top. If you want to get more specific, you're actually talking about attention at the top. Now, it's important to me that we actually start right before the concept of anything digital was even around. The marketing funnel has been around for a long time. I believe that the simplest way of explaining what a marketing funnel is taking people who don't know that we exist, so they literally have no idea who we are, so they don't know that we exist, and all we're trying to do through a series of communicating with them, talking to them, um, having a conversation with them, coming through and turning them into profitable because they've got to make us money. Otherwise, what's the point? Happy, they've got to like the service. They've got to like us, and we've got to like them. Repeat, profitable, happy, repeat customers who also refer us to their friends. So they've got to keep buying from us. Refer, if I can spell today. Who refer us to their friends. That's actually what we're doing through this kind of funnel process. The reason that it comes in like this, and like I said, I will actually get into the specifics of some of the tools that we use and some of the processes. I've got no idea how long this is going to go for, but I just figured we'd go through this. This is all about the theory to start with. The reason it comes in like this, because we might start with 100 people. And traffic is overused, but it's a very digital term. But if we talk about attention, this could be 100 people reading a magazine. This could be 100 people seeing an advert. This could be 100 people reading a book. This could be 100 people at a seminar. This could be 100 people getting in contact with us. It actually doesn't matter, right? And what happens is over time, as they go through this process, we qualify them out. And this might then turn to 50 people who, let's say, read the book, 50 people who send an inquiry, 20 people who actually respond to us, and then let's say 5 sales. Okay. That's a pretty standard like funnel, right? And the reason it goes down like this is because our percentages of conversion drops. Like I said, this is absolute beginner's guide, absolute beginner's guide. 100 to 50, that is a 50% conversion rate, because of 100 people at the start, 50 people have dropped out. 50 people to 20, this is now we're going to check my maths, is that roughly 40%? Is that a 40% conversion rate? Because out of 20 people, out of 50 people who started, 20 people ended up coming through. So 50 divided by 20. So I think that's 40%. Apologies if that's, yeah, I think that's right. And then out of 20 to going down to 5, that is a 25% conversion rate. So that's what we talk about conversion rates between stages. But if I was going to look at the whole funnel, I would say that this whole funnel has a 5% conversion rate, which is actually pretty fucking good. The reason I've chosen book here is because I wanted something that is above. Hey guys, how you doing? Supernova for life. Nice. Hey Les, how you doing? Utsa, thank you very much. Or Ray, how you doing? The reason I've chosen book is because it's non-digital, and we're all really in this digital space, right? And I do it. I create fucking landing pages every other day, it seems like. This could be blog. This could be a squeeze page, or a landing page. I'll talk about the difference between the two. Doesn't matter, right? And they go through to those stages. Some funnels are 2 stages, right? Some funnels are 2 stages. Blog post, opt-in. Now, that's not necessarily something that's like particularly well optimized. It's not necessarily something that's like particularly complex. That is a marketing funnel, okay? Maybe all you want to do is grow a massive email list. You write a ton of blog content. You get people to opt in. You know that you have 100 people coming through to your blog. You also know that you have roughly a 6% conversion rate. And it means that for every 100 people that joins, you get 6 opt-ins or 6 emails. Napoleon Hill, I don't think I've got the printed book, from Think and Grow Rich. The initial book of Think and Grow Rich was basically a lead magnet. It was essentially a long sales letter. Okay. Well, I'm going to go into more detail on this. That's why I chose book. He knew that of everyone who read that book, at the end of the book, they used to sell a home study course. So let's say the book cost $20. He would say at the end of the book, hey, if this was useful and you got some value from this and I want to help you take it to that next level, etc., 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 we've got a home study course. All you have to do is send a check for 1997 through, and maybe only 1 out of 100 people, even that would be fucking outstanding if it was. It probably was about that. So that's a 1% conversion rate. It's already going to get messy. into buying his course. So that was a 1% conversion rate, and he would measure this. He would measure it a lot. He didn't actually do it like that. It was structured slightly differently. I'll talk about more of the complexities, but very basically, that's the concept of a funnel. We can have it nice and simple, or we can go really, really complex and really, really deep. Hey, Paul, good to see you, brother. Hey, Todd, good morning. It's just going past 3:10 for me, but wherever you are, good morning in the States, presumably. So that basically is our funnel. The reason that I think people overcomplicate it is because I don't think people visualize the funnel in terms of the process of taking people from don't know that we exist through to profitable, happy, repeat customers that refer us. 5 Stages of Awareness by Eugene Schwartz. So thank you very much, Supernova for Life. Yep, you're absolutely right. There's actually a lot of different ways of modeling this out. I don't think people think of it like this, which they should do, or just the overall process of narrowing people down, because naturally people are going to drop off, people can't afford it, they're not the right fit, whatever, and eventually they come out the bottom end of the funnel. I think a lot of people think of marketing funnels in terms of pages, websites, tools like ClickFunnels and Unbounce and lead pages and email automation and social media and paid ads and remarketing, and none of that is true. That is all basically the tools that we can use for the overall strategy. A lot of other people have said, oh, marketing funnels are dead as well. I don't really understand how that's possible. I know people are like, well, it's actually about the flywheel now. It's actually about the flywheel. And all a flywheel is a marketing funnel where at the end with the sales process, you basically try to drop them in the top for another product. That's basically all it is, right? It's in fact, actually, typically they'll come in sort of midway because we'll have different products. The marketing funnel isn't dead because it is a model that explains how we attract people who don't know that we exist. If we go through those phases as well, and there's loads of different ways, so don't get caught up on the language because there's loads of different ways of breaking this out. They don't know that we exist. First of all, we get their attention. That might be an advert, that might be a book, that might be something that they go, oh, that looks like something that's interesting to me. Okay, get their attention. We then grow to they go to like us, trust us, and then they know, obviously they know who we are. Some interesting data around when those three relationships happen, but we have to get attention first. We have to say, hey, I'm the guy who's going to help you with the buying cameras. If you want to buy a camera, I'm the guy who's going to help you buy cameras. And they're like, I want to buy a camera. That's for me. Then they get to know, like, and trust us. That's through things like content, books, blog posts, videos, talks, speaking engagements, just having a normal human conversation, having a go at them. So they go, like, know, and trust us. And then they basically work out, does it make sense? Does it make sense for us to work together? At that point, so these are the separations, and this is very basic. We can get into more depth if people want to. We can kind of come out of it. This is basically the stage where we're going to make a sale. Does it make sense to work together? So if someone has begun to know me and understand me and like me and trust me, and I know and like and trust them, it's a two-way process, right? The customer and the supplier. I'll then put something in front of them, like another advert, like a sales letter, a phone call, a pitch, a meeting, a proposal, whatever, and I'll go through, does it make sense to work together? That's basically the marketing funnel, going from don't know that we exist through to profitable, happy, repeat customer that refers us to their friends. And those are the 4 metrics that you want to measure, by the way, when it comes to any kind of marketing funnel. So quick check. Am I going too fast for people? Do people have any do people have any flywheels by HubSpot? Yeah, I've seen HubSpot use it. I've also seen SiteGround, I want to say. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. It's bullshit. I haven't seen it since, so it was obviously a 2018 thing. Right. That's the theory of the marketing funnel. If people want me to go over anything, please, please, please just let me know. But in the meantime, actually, I'm just going to remove the banner. because I want to make sure that we can get through. Okie dokie. Cool. Let's start talking about the digital side and where things like email and websites and stuff come into it, Facebook ads and traffic and all that kind of shit. Typically, this is very, very typically, okay, we're going to have essentially a website. You can tell I'm a designer. I'm not. That's a joke. We've got our website. We've also probably got some kind of email automation program. So for example, I use ActiveCampaign, and this will then show me some sort of statistics. Now, if we're being specific with the language we use, I want email automation. A CRM, customer relationship manager, is not always a email automation system. For example, for a long time, Salesforce was a CRM and it had no email capabilities. It had them very quickly and it integrated with a lot of stuff. I just want to get specific on some of the I just want to get specific on some of the language that we use. Lawrence, I got your question, so we'll answer them in a bit. Cheers, bud. Makes so much sense to consider if we should be working with the customers too. Oh, absolutely. It's a two-way process, man. Absolutely two-way process. You're not going too fast. This is great for beginners. Good. Thank you very much, Beth. Appreciate it. Coming from another person who teaches a lot, that means a lot to me. A CRM, customer relationship manager, is extremely useful. I use ActiveCampaign, which is also a CRM. It allows me to store data and records and scoring capabilities. It allows me to basically have a lot of data on the people who are my customers, but it also has an automation program built in. For a marketing funnel, it actually could be that we use an email automation process or we could use a CRM process. However, a CRM does not always have email automation, and email automation doesn't always have a CRM system. So it's just something to be aware of. The two are becoming more and more overlapped, and we're probably going to see that as time goes on. They'll become more and more kind of intertwined, but that's about as complex as you need to get. For a website, I personally use WordPress, and I use a page builder called Beaver Builder. Um, Beaver Builder have been really, really good to me. I like their software. I like the way they build pages. I like the guys, we've met at WordCamps and stuff. We've got software that integrates with it. So I'm a big fan of Beaver Builder. But in terms of how you build out marketing funnels, those are basically the tools that you need. That's it. You can have a lot more. For example, I use StreamYard right now as essentially a piece of content creation, but realistically, we could just use WordPress and a page builder. If we're getting honest, we could just use WordPress and free themes. Gutenberg is getting there, but I like Beaver Builder, and I'm going to show you some examples of how we use that later. ActiveCampaign allows me to collect email addresses and then allows me to automate stuff out. I've used Constant Contact, is it GetResponse, Campaign Monitor, Infusionsoft, Marketo, Salesforces. They're all much of a muchness. All right. There's no good ones. There's no bad ones. If you find one that works for you, awesome. I like ActiveCampaign. I think it's incredibly affordable for what it does. Like, I'm blown away by just all the features and stuff that it has. And they are working on it. But personally, I thought that MailChimp as well. MailChimp has a better email creator. Like, personally, I thought they had a better email creator and it's better for e-commerce businesses, but their automation's pretty lousy. ActiveCampaign, on the other hand, their automation is second to none, personally. So Beth, you raised a really good point. I use Elementor the same way you use Beaver Builder. Again, Elementor is a great piece of kit. Some people use Divi. Some people use what are some of the other big ones? There's Oxygen, I think, is one. There's plenty of them. Again, they're all much of a muchness. They all pretty much do the same thing. If you can build a website, you can build a marketing funnel. Okay, so those are the tools that I use. This is as complex as it gets. This is for a digital marketing funnel. Okay, this is for a marketing funnel that we build using digital assets, partly because they're basically free, and I'll talk a little bit about how we scale out, how we buy customer licenses and stuff. But it's as good as free, right? They're dirt cheap. Here's my website. I have a standard facing, like homepage, and on the homepage we have, the regular shit, nothing spectacular. Okay, menu. Ideally, you've got stuff like blog posts, and maybe at the top you've got an opt-in that says, download our latest thing. I will come to things like funnel building applications like ClickFunnels and Unbounce and Lead Pages. I will come to that. I just want to show how we do it with ClickFunnels. This is, sorry, with WordPress. This is our regular website, right? And this has got all the regular pages. It's got our about page. It's got our contact page. It's got a blog. It's got all of the usual shit, okay? But we also have, excuse me, I believe that's someone at the door. Hold on 2 seconds. Typical. Apologies for that. My neighbour, bless her, she's broken her shoulder. Not just now, obviously, but a few days ago. So I needed to make sure that she's all right. We have a regular website, homepage, about page, contact page, all of that kind of stuff. But I will also build a squeeze page. And this might be something like website.com/free. Okay. This squeeze page will be nice and basic. It'll basically give away some kind of free training. We'll call that a lead magnet or ethical bribe, digital download. There's loads of different names for it. Again, don't worry about too much about this stuff. We're just talking about the structure. This will be built. It'll be on the same website. It'll be on the same type of page management system. You might have it on your menu. You might not. We won't get into the details. This squeeze page will allow people to opt in to your email list. And that email list will then be managed by your email autoresponder. In my case, ActiveCampaign. Beaver Builder, Elementor as well, I believe, Divi, all of the big ones, they pretty much have this built in where you can basically say, hey, if someone clicks here, open up a pop-up form or have an opt-in form ready to go on the page. And if people input their details, put them on this list with these tags and send them over to that ActiveCampaign, and you don't need any other additional tools. I do use Opt-in Monster, and it's a slightly more advanced tool, but frankly, for much of a muchness, for these landing pages and stuff, we use exactly the same process. In an ideal world, I'm not going into too much detail. This page here, this landing page will go through to a thank you page, and that thank you page will have a sales video on it for a product. Don't worry about that too much. Some kind of thank you page is where you'd redirect them to. So the email address gets sent over to ActiveCampaign. This then means that in future, we can start sending emails to people. There might be an autoresponder, which maybe sends an email, 2 in the first day, 2 on the second day, and then 1 per day for like a week or whatever. And it's an email campaign. That's as complex as it gets. If the customer has already got one, and I talked about this a little bit on a previous video, but I'm just going to briefly touch on it because like I said, this is a beginner's one. If they've already got a website, if they've already built one and you think actually it's pretty good, there's nothing we can really do to it, and they're at website.com, and they've already got their site, and perhaps after kind of working with something like this, um, uh, you might be able to offer more insight into how they're working, like what they're doing here, and say, actually you need to have an opt-in form or whatever. We would then do a subdomain. Don't have time to go into the details, but I would have it on go.website.com, and I would just have the squeeze page, and the sales pages and thank you pages and all that kind of stuff, and maybe even the checkout page if need be. I would have it on a separate site, on a completely separate domain or a subdomain, ideally. That's how we can separate them out. So you can absolutely still offer and build marketing funnels for customers. Let's talk a little bit about things like ClickFunnels. So split this into two halves. I have had many customers, as in when we were building funnels, approach me and say, why don't I just build it with ClickFunnels? And I go, yeah, it's a really good point. There are lots of tools and platforms out there that allow you to build funnels yourself and do it as a DIY funnel builder. I don't think you want to build funnels. I think you want to run your business. And I guarantee you that in 6 months' time, you're going to be just as frustrated with the funnel package and the funnel software as you are now. The problem with funnel building platforms, and this is from the customer's perspective, is that they are identical, and I personally believe of a slightly lesser quality, as things like ActiveCampaign and Beaver Builder and Elementor and all this stuff coming together. As a funnel builder, I know that there are a lot of people who go, well, this has got everything built into it. Awesome, let me go to that. And then they find very quickly that it's more restricted than they think. It's one thing to come up with an extremely simple process of squeeze page, thank you page, upsell page, delivery page, for example, and go, yeah, we've got the templates there. Bosh, we'll just throw them out. The problem is not the templates. Beaver Builder will do that as quickly. Elementor will do that as quickly. There are pages and templates that will do all of that kind of stuff for you. You can even buy templates. They even come with templates inside them that allow you to have those pages. The problem is the copy that goes into it. Every single time I have had a customer or another funnel builder say, I'm going to move over to something like ClickFunnels because it's all in one, or Lead Pages or Unbounce or Marketo or any of that, they go, actually, I'm just as frustrated because the problem is not the capability of the tool. The problem is the marketing copy, the copywriting that goes into it. That's the problem with those tools. And they neglect to tell you that. They have a habit of saying, look how easy and fantastic and fast we can make it. But actually, and again, I've seen this in experience, when you get down to it, it's actually the marketing copy that takes the most amount of work. Here's what's interesting. We take our basic website, super basic, where we have a basic WordPress site. And let's say that we have, in fact, let's say that we even install the latest 2020 theme, okay? And we have some basic pages. Let's say that we have a sales page, and I'll talk about all of this in a minute. I'll start breaking this down in terms of the funnel diagram we've got here. Let's say that we have a sales page, we have a squeeze page, and we have a blog. Very quickly, sales page, squeeze page, whatever. These are all fall under the category of landing page. A landing page is something where someone is driven there from another source or driven there from another location. Let's say a Facebook ad or a link on Twitter or a social share, or they just went there themselves, or SEO or whatever. Like, we have landing pages that rank on SEO. I recently heard someone say that landing pages don't rank on SEO anymore. No idea where they've got that from, because we have landing pages that rank really, really well on SEO, so they absolutely still do. It's because someone lands there from an external source. That's basically what that is. We've got a sales page, which is just a long form written kind of product page. No styling, no design, no Elementor, no Beaver Builder, nothing, no Divi, nothing, right? Just long form written text. A squeeze page with a very basic opt-in form and a blog. You could absolutely start generating sales and start building a marketing funnel with that. It's so simple to do. What you would do is you would have the blog set up with all of your blog posts, and you would continually write, once a week, because everyone writes a blog post once a week, don't they? And you would have that. And on all of those blog posts, you would have from your CRM system, there are even free tools that do it. At the bottom, you would say, hey, download, our complete guide to losing weight for Christmas or whatever. Pop in your email address here. Here's a button. Great. And that would just, and even if that just didn't redirect you anyway, you just said, thank you very much. Your stuff is on its way. You could do all of that. And I know people who have done all of that with absolutely zero page builders and designers and stuff like this. And then when designers have come on board, they've been able to take all of this and make it work better. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars on loads of different tools just to make it work better. If you have a page builder that allows you to connect with an autoresponder or a CRM, that's all you need. Cool. So let's take a quick look at the comments. It's the cops. No, I wasn't swatted. I don't want to use an external tool. I want to go to my website, and because of the traffic, yeah, and again, a lot of external tools basically benefit from you going to their kind of subdomains and stuff, which is again why I don't use it. So completely agree, Beth. Good point. So Lawrence, I hope that answers your question earlier. I know you've got another one about your lead generation funnel, so I'll talk about that in a bit. Cool. Don't know that we exist. We have their attention. They get to like, know, and trust us. They work out whether it makes sense for us to work together both ways, and then they become a profitable, happy, repeat customer that refers us to their friends. How do we do that? A bunch of different ways. So first of all, as I mentioned, we have our website with a ton of different blog posts on it. And ideally, every single one of those blog posts has also got an opt-in. What I might do in a minute is swap this around and show you some examples. And this is a little opt-in that says, hey, enter your email address and get access to whatever. And we've got them on all of our blog posts. We also have, like I said earlier, a squeeze page, which is nice and basic. The example we used earlier. And that's basically on the site as well. We would have at the top the different types of traffic that are available to us. There's organic SEO. Blog posts do very well on SEO, as do landing pages. We might also do Facebook ads, going through to blog posts and going through to squeeze pages. We might also do YouTube ads. They go through to both of them as well, although you're probably more likely to put that through to a squeeze page. They didn't know that we exist. We got their attention with some kind of advert, and now we're generating trust with them through both of these pieces. We generate trust with them because we say we share with them a piece of content that says, hey, I've been in your position. I completely understand the struggles when it comes to running an online business, which is why I've developed my complete free worksheet download to be able to double your sales in one afternoon. And you give them a download. They like that. They trust it. They're beginning to get to know you. It is the equivalent of when you meet someone at a bar of asking for their number as opposed to proposing marriage. Okay. If we were going to advertise to products, it's usually because we're remarketing to products. The difference between warm traffic and cold traffic is very basically warm traffic is people who have been to your website before. That's all it is, right? They've been to your website before, nice and simple. They could have been there organically. So maybe they found you on Google or you shared something, or they even went there, you did a talk and you say, I'll go to sellyourservice.co.uk/free training. And you can go there and there would be a direct. If they've been there before, that's warm traffic, right? If they have never seen you before, it's cold traffic. Just in the same way as when we used to do warm calling and cold calling is picking up your phone book and dialing for dollars. Back in the good old days, that's how we do it. That's the exact same thing. They didn't know that we exist, and we're getting their attention. So in the good old days, I'd call up and I'd say, "Hey there, Mr. Payne, how you doing? My name's Mike. Mr. Killen from Sell Your Services asked me to give you a call because he has a tool and a system that helps you double the number of leads that you're going to generate from 2019 into 2020." That's what we would do, right? That's that cold lead generation. But online, we do it with adverts. Knowing, liking, and trusting you is, hey, I've got this tool that allows you to double the leads you generate from 2019 to 2020. Are you the right person to talk to? Okay. Are you the right person to talk to? That's what this is. An opt-in form, and when we opt in on this here as well, that is not designed, and this is where I think a lot of people get wrong, it is not necessarily the only way that you're going to generate leads. This is also a qualifier. That initial thing is the qualifying them, asking them, are they the right person? Is this person interested in this piece of content? Is this person interested in this topic or this problem? That's actually what that process does, is it qualifies them out, right? If I have 100 people visit it, and yes, a part of it will be because of the page design and the copy and how fast it loads and all this kind of stuff, but realistically, most people don't opt in because it doesn't apply to them, or you haven't already generated enough trust. Which is maybe down to the language, or they don't know who you are, or they need a bit of time, and that's fine. But when they actually opt in, they're actually qualifying themselves as saying, yeah, I'm the right person to talk to. After that qualification, we continue to develop trust through sending them PDFs, videos, webinars, or training like this. Maybe there's also a Facebook group that they can join. We're basically just continuing to build trust throughout that process. We've got their attention. We're now continuing to build trust. And we might do this with an email campaign. We might do this with a social media campaign. We might actually physically call them up and let them know about the group. Again, the mechanics aren't particularly important. This is more about like what you're trying to do. In here, we're just trying to build trust with people. You can't rush history. I do believe there is a sales letter that you could write that's so powerful that people will immediately buy, no matter how expensive it is. That's probably at best ever going to be 1% of the people who ever see that page, right? If I wrote the world's best sales letter and the world's best sales copy, maybe 1% will opt in because they have the budget, they're qualified, they know who I am, they trust me, and everything syncs, right? The other 99% who don't buy, we can't rush that history. We actually need to. Lee Goff has a different way of doing this. He has 4-4-92, so he reckons it's about 92% of people will take a little bit longer. But think about the activities that you do with a normal human being, like your friends and your family. You get to know them. You go to different locations with them. You continue to work with them. You continue to educate them. I'll probably do some other videos on like why you should educate them and why you shouldn't educate them, but regardless, that's that process of making them understand who you are and beginning to trust you. And then we'll make a sales offer to them, and this will be a sales page. I personally like to have a sales campaign that looks a little bit like this. I'll take a product such as, it could be anything. It could be online training, it could be physical products, it could be workshops, it could be live one-on-one coaching. Lawrence, I'm just going to see if this is actually pertinent to yours now. Here we go. Another one. Another question. I'm approaching independent retail shops, things like tailors, artisan bakeries, for lead generation funnels. Considering many don't do their social media quite well, apart from using a list properly, what sort of questions? Okay, so that's not pertinent to this one, so we'll come back to that in a minute. Here's how I like to do sales offers. This is one product, okay? And like I said, it actually doesn't matter what the product is. The product could be absolutely anything. Interestingly, people have asked me, well, does this work for like high ticket items like $10,000 and $25,000? I'm like, it should work more. And I'll tell you why. It should work more. One of the biggest reasons I believe people have failed to sell in general is because they don't have enough sales collateral. So we're building up this sales collateral. These might also even have the same messaging. In fact, ideally, they do all have the same messaging. This is a sales letter. So this is basically kind of like a blog post with an offer at the end, right? This is what we call a product page. This is something that maybe has a bit more design to it and looks a bit nicer. And this is what we call a video sales letter, or VSL, which is basically this script turned into a video. And this is for the same product. And I'll continually put these messages in front of people who are, I believe, qualified. How do we qualify them and how do we do that? That's like a whole other story on lead scoring. But very basically, this is the process. And these, again, just basic web pages. This video would probably be hosted by Vimeo. I don't want to do it on YouTube for a variety of reasons. Vimeo allows me to keep them on the page. And they're all going to come through to a checkout page. And that is basically where they're going to hand me some money. Okay. Conversion rate wise, if I've qualified them out and I've gone through this process with them, it should be maybe 5% of my list buys at any one time. But that can go up and down depending on your products and how often you sell to them. This part here, hopefully I've kind of divided this out correctly-ish. Know, like, and trust is the content, it's the way we build with them. This is also small products as well. We might sell them like kind of smaller products like 19 and $9 and $45 products and stuff like this, because that increases trust. A big misconception people have about selling and the marketing funnel system is that when you sell something to someone, you're exchanging trust, right? You're swapping trust. It's like you're cashing in. You go, well, you trust me this much, so you've got to buy it, and you're cashing in that trust. And that's not the case. Yes, they have to trust you. They have to trust the product is right, and they have to trust that they understand enough about, or that they want the product enough. They don't even have to understand it. They want the product enough. But after someone buys, their trust levels actually go up. So you're not exchanging it. You're building on trust. A really fantastic way to build trust with your audience and with your customers is to sell them stuff, and they'll buy it. And even little like small books, ebooks, training programs, no matter what process you're using, no matter what product you're selling or what your customers are selling, you absolutely should be trying to sell them small products. I'm going to give you a practical example of this whole process. Friend of mine, oh, friend of mine got into basically, he was a plumber, and for one reason or another, he had to kind of quit. I think he did his back in or something, and he had a load of this special, like, I think it was it mag tape. I don't know. It's basically a type of like, really, it's a heavy roll of kind of like duct tape, and what you do is you unwind it, and it's magnet. I mean, it's thick, right? It's like as thick as the inside of the book. And what do? You wrap it around certain types of pipes, and it basically filters all the sludge out, and you put it on a certain filter, right? Mag tape. And this sells for, like, I don't know, $9.99 or something. It's probably more than that, I don't know. And he had a little online store. He sold mag tape, right? He was a plumber. He sold mag tape. And he was like, I've got boxes of this stuff and I'm selling tons of it. I'm not making any money. It started off with, like, in year one, he had 100 customers. In year two, he had like 1,000 customers. Now he has something like 100 customers a week. 100 sales a week, I should say. It doesn't actually matter if it's like new customers or old customers. 100 sales a week, right? He was like, we're going through this stuff. We buy it, but it's not profitable. I'm not making any money from it. I'm like, okay, what can you tell me about people who buy mag tape? And he was like, well, they're all plumbers. I was like, sweet. And you have to deliver it to them, right? He was like, yeah. So you got their home address. He was like, how do you invoice them? He said, oh, they always ask for an email invoice. Like, right. So you got their email. Any support calls? He said, yeah, people naturally like he just built it. He just threw it up on Shopify, right? He was like, yeah, I think we asked for their phone number and we never really took it off. So we've kept their phone number in there. I'm like, so what you're saying is people are paying you to go onto your email list. That's basically what you're telling me. He was like, no, we don't collect emails like that. We don't have lead magnets. I'm like, I don't care. You are literally having people buy this product. It doesn't really make you any money, fine, but they're coming onto your email list, right? And what do you know about them? You know they're plumbers, and you know they're doing something to do with pipes. He was like, does it peak and trough? He says, yeah, it always peaks sort of around, well, around this time, around winter time, because that's when people get their pipes redone. And I was like, right, what would be an awesome product to sell to someone who is a plumber? What's a profitable product? Maybe something in the £50 range. And he was like, we could sell them. There's a specialist type of like wrench that opens up like a certain type of pipe. I'm like, cool. So you're going to take a tool like this, you're going to buy a bunch of them. You're not actually going to buy any of them. You're going to email that list. I looked, he had just shy of 10,000 email lists, right? 10,000 customers. This is just in the UK, right? And I was like, you've got 10,000 lists. What I would do is I would drop this for cost. So it ends up becoming $4.99 or whatever. And he was like, yeah, but I won't make anything. I said, but your email list will skyrocket. It will shoot up because then you start selling £50 tools. Anyone who buys the £50 tools, what else are they going to need? He said, there's a lot of like, he actually went into in the training route. He was like, there's loads of professional development that you have to do. I was like, cool, courses. How much are they? He said, well, they range, but they let's say £300. And I can sell them and I can become a licensee. I was like, right. So then you sell the £300 product to the person who bought the 50 quid product. And now he's making money hand over fist. Like he's actually gone into other areas. The marketing, this is a marketing funnel. All right. And people are like, oh, you know what he should be doing? He should be doing lead magnets and Facebook ads and shit like this. Maybe, right? But it seems to me that people are searching for this type of tape. They're buying it. I drop the price and I do it basically for at cost. So I don't know what shipping is or whatever. I'd get a fulfillment center to take care of it. People are growing his email list, and the first thing I would do is say, thanks so much for buying the Mag Tape. We have this particular type of tool that helps with detaching like the sludge thing. It's 50 quid. Maybe it's not 50 quid. I don't know. 50 quid. Do you want to buy it? And it just started stacking up. And he was like, holy shit, this is how I make money. You don't make money on the initial product. And this is what a lot of people make the mistake of. They think that the marketing funnel is this magic system that's going to take traffic and people who have never heard of them and move them through to a happy, profitable repeat customer with just one product. And it's probably not. You are better off doing a Facebook ad to someone. They click through, and yeah, I personally I do like the opt-in because it's such a low um, like risk, so I like to have an opt-in. And then immediately if they opt in, I would want to try and sell them like a $19, and I do this. If people have been on my list, you see that I do this. $49 something, whatever, 47 bucks or whatever, dollar product. Immediately I'll try and upsell them, and then I'll try and sell them like a 197 or a 147 product, and then I'll try and sell them. And this isn't obviously one page. That I might actually do it up to there. That might be it. But then after that, I would then move into like some email campaigns and start selling, like a $2,000 product or something. And I would just gradually increase the price, right? Some people call this a value ladder. Some people call it an ascending transaction model. Some people call it a CVO or customer value optimization. That is kind of tactically how your marketing funnels are going to work. The idea is that these costs here, these sales here, basically pay for your Facebook ads. That's how you want to be doing it. You don't want to be spending an advert hoping to make a sale that becomes profitable. A Facebook ad, this is just as an example, any type of advert, it actually doesn't matter. And I had this, I'll say conversation, but it was basically an argument with an advertising exec the other day. An ad that goes through to a product, and let's say that it's a product that they've got to consider, and it's $2,500, right? And this is for your customers. If they go through to that, let's say they have a 0.5% conversion rate, which means they have to get 200 people through for one person to buy. That maths probably doesn't work out, right? Especially if it's cold. It's not going to happen. Instead, let's be patient and let's start to think, how do we get their attention? How do we get them to know, like, and trust us? And then work out, does it make sense to work together? How do we get their attention, know, like, and trust us? Then does it make sense for us to work together further on? And then the repeat customer is where we continue to sell them products. If you're advertising through to a product, you're probably going to be shit out of luck unless they are already on your list or already have bought from you. The challenge with DIY funnels, ClickFunnels, etc., is that when onboarding a new client, they also have to purchase the software. Do you build client funnels with your WordPress account or help them set up their own WordPress funnel account? That is a fantastic question, and I'm going to answer that right now. So, when it comes to building funnels, I never have, I don't use ClickFunnels or anything like that. I personally think they're a fucking huge waste of money and they don't work very well. Sorry, the gloves have come off a little bit there. I like Russell's books, but his software shit. Let's say we're starting from scratch, right? It's a really good Branding System Pro. It's a really good. It's a really good question. And sorry, Todd. It's a really good question. And the truth is that what I will do is, if they're starting from scratch, it'll be their domain name. Obviously, they'll buy that. And let's say they're redoing from scratch, customer.com. I'll use my hosting. So I'll use WP Engine. Again, don't worry too much about whose hosting you use. I recommend getting a good host, but whatever. And it'll be my frameworks. Okay, so it'll be my plugins and all of that. The customer pays, and this is, so we're starting to get into the sales process a bit. I know that my plugins cost me roughly probably about $1,000 a year. Okay, if I didn't have any customers, that's what it would cost me. Personally, I don't like it for the customer to buy their own plugins. This is because I have massively scaled down the amount of plugins that I use. So I use Opt-in Monster, I use Beaver Builder, and a few like Beaver Builder add-ons. I know that all of my plugins cost roughly $1,000. So the customers that if I have 10 customers, I want them paying me a minimum $100 per month. Which basically brings in roughly $10,000 per year. Those are the maintenance costs, and then $1,000 of that will go into the plugins. If they have bought their own plugins in the past, we might look at them. Sometimes customers have bought Beaver Builder before, and I might use it. If we say to a customer, if you buy your own Beaver Builder plugin, that's absolutely fine, and we'll still support it, but you'll still have to go on our maintenance program. So you might as well just have it as us. And if we then say, and we've never had this, but if a customer then said, oh, we're leaving, but we want to take everything with you, I'd go, fine, absolutely fine. You can either continue paying us monthly for the licenses, or you can go ahead and buy your own, and we can switch them over. We're very open, but I would rather have control of it. That's just, there's tons of different ways to doing it. I know some people who get the customer to buy everything and they just use it. This is just easier for us. We're hyper standardized, like we don't have any kind of ins and outs. So that's how that works. On the other side, one of the reasons I love Active Campaign is because they have a account and partner management system, which means that I can actually give discounts to my customers if they sign up with us. I think we're up to like a 25% discount or something. And it means that it's their account, they pay us for it monthly, but we have a slightly higher margin on it because we have a slight discount. But it also means we can manage it. The partnership program for that kind of stuff works really, really well. That's basically how I do it. So yeah, cheers, Todd. Good question. How do I? There we go. Cool. Right, let's start talk. Man, we're going 53 minutes. If you guys have got to go, this is awesome. I love that you're sticking with me. The last piece here, and if people have got more questions, and I have had more questions come through, which I'll answer, is selling marketing funnels. There are basically a few laws of selling marketing funnels. The first law of selling marketing funnels to customers is don't talk about marketing funnels. This has been a beginner's account, right? This has been a beginner's walkthrough. Chances are you probably knew a little bit more than you were letting yourself on. If that's the beginner stuff, and you probably a lot of this stuff, you're like, I already knew a lot of that, which is great, right? Customers are real ignorant when it comes to marketing funnels. Some of them, the worst ones, a bit like doctors make the worst patients, the worst ones have tried to do it themselves. And they listen to a bunch of different funnel experts, try to build it themselves, and then they move on to other people, and they go back and forth and whatever. The easiest thing is to just never bring up marketing funnels at all. I've got an entire framework for this called the Funnel Business Game Plan that helps you takes you through that. That's like our flagship course. You should be selling. This is the second part. Who you matters works. Who you work with matters way more than what you do. When I walk into a room full of funnel builders and they say, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?" I'll say, "I'm a run a marketing agency, I run a digital marketing agency, or I'm a lead generation agency." I'm like, "You're telling me what you do. What you should be telling people is who you work with." This is the most fundamental basic parts. For example, we work with online businesses who sell a low cost product, have a lot of customers, but don't seem to be making any profit from it. That model I went through there, right? I mean, you saw that model. Those businesses exist by the hundreds of thousands. People who basically sell one or two products, like these little like running lights, pens, photography equipment, all this kind of stuff. And they sell a lot of them, have got a lot of customers, but they don't make any money. So we work with X type of customer. So that's what we call an XYZ statement. X type of customer who's got Y problem to achieve Z result. So I work with online businesses who sell low cost products. They sell a lot of them. They've got a lot of customers, but they never seem to make any profit. And after working with us, they find 10x profit levels within 18 months, or 10x profit levels, or we work with them to increase their profit levels. For example, so law one, don't talk about marketing funnels, right? No one cares. The competition is growing every single day. More and more people are entering the funnel market space, and basically customers will go, "Oh, you sell marketing funnels? Why don't I just build a marketing funnel with ClickFunnels?" Right? And as you've seen, it's actually a pretty simple process, and the reality is anyone can do it. So law two, who we work with matters more than what we do. That's kind of another way of saying. Ryan Dice says businesses are defined by the markets they serve, not the products that they sell. So if you said to someone, "We work with online businesses, so we work with X type of customer. We work with online businesses who sell a low value product, who have got Y type of problem. They sell a lot of them, but they actually don't make any profit, and they achieve Z result after working with us. They turn more of those customers into frequent buyers and they become more profitable. So we work with X type of people with Y type of problem to achieve Z result. X, Y, Z. Who we work with matters more than what we do. And at first, when you start saying that to people, and you have to start saying it now, uh, and it starts sounding a bit weird, and over time you'll work it. For example, my name is Mike Killen. I'm the founder of Sell Your Service. We are a sales training organization that works with marketing funnel agencies to help them raise their prices and sell marketing funnels for at least $25,000. I work with marketing funnel agencies, right? I work with marketing funnel businesses who have got Y problem. They're not able to attract enough customers who want to pay them enough money, and I help them achieve Z result, raise their prices and sell marketing funnels for $25,000 plus. When you first say it to people, it's going to sound a bit weird to you. You're going to be like, "Ugh, no one likes this." You're even going to have people try and get clever with you and be like, "All right, so what is it that you actually do?" And you say, "That's what we do. That's exactly what we do." Yes, I've framed it as who we work with, but that is what you do. A way you can do that is say what you're similar to. You can say, we're kind of similar to a marketing agency. You can absolutely say that, but you have to lead with who you work with. You'll also find it's easier for people to make referrals. Referrals often fall flat because people go, um, "Well, yeah, my friend Dan does SEO, right? But I don't really know how who would benefit from using SEO." Instead, if you go, "We work with online businesses who sell digital products. They have a really active blog, but they have very few conversions, and all of their sales are currently made via the phone. And after working with us, they make more sales via their website without anyone having to have a conversation with the customer." It just so happens that we use SEO to do that, but who we work with is way more important. And then people start going, oh, you're having problems, you constantly have to sell on the phone. You go, yeah, I've got a friend, Dan, who can actually help with that. So law one is we don't talk about marketing funnels. Law two is who we work with matters more than what we do. And lastly, law three, to sell a marketing funnel, we do not sell the features, we sell futures. Probably my favorite saying, sell features, not futures. And this is when we say, in the future, Mr. Customer, how would you feel if you were able to take more time off, your staff weren't on the phone selling, and more of your sales came in on automation through the website? You'd be like, yeah, shit, I want that. Awesome. We can get started today. We just require a deposit. And it really is that simple. I promise you, it really is that simple. A lot of people think with marketing funnels, they have to get into the details of it. They have to overcomplicate what they call it. They have to change the name of it. Um, and try to make it sound more complicated than it is. But instead, if you just sell the future that the customer wants, you'll have no problem finding customers. What we do is we help authors who are about to publish their second book make sure that their book is their book launch is a success, and turn it into an online course so that 1 in every 100 book readers is likely to buy a $2,000 product. Mr. Author, okay, so that's who we work with, and this is the future. Mr. Author, how would you feel if every time you sold a book, you knew it was going to help you get to like a bestseller status? Your book launch went off without a hitch. I don't know what your previous book launch was like. Maybe you were a bit stressed about it. They say, yeah, we were. Like, we didn't sleep very well, and it was a bit of a disaster. You go, well, we can eliminate that. We can make sure that the book launch is a real success, and roughly 1 in every 100 book customers will end up buying a $2,000 course. How does that sound? You go, oh my God, yes, I want that. You go, great. You haven't mentioned marketing funnels in that at all. That's how you sell marketing funnels. How would you recommend approaching businesses? What's your best sales method? My best sales method is I will write a long form, high quality piece of blog content. I've actually got this as a blog post somewhere, like how to sell marketing funnels in 2019 or run a profitable marketing funnel business in 2019. It's like my whole process on how to do it. And I would start by having a long form, high quality piece of blog content. When you've worked out who you want to work with and the problem you solve and the result you get them, which, by the way, spoiler alert, this here, anyone know what this is called? Because it is called a niche. A niche is not a group of people. A niche is what you bring to the market. You are the niche. You are the person who solves a particular problem or gets a specific result for a type of customer that no one else wants to serve. That's your niche. So you got your niche. I would write up a really high quality, long form piece of blog content explaining how they can do that process, because that explains how you have got the authority. You know how you would do it. And then I would reach out to my network and say, hey guys, I now work specifically with businesses that create decorative and commemorative mugs. We help them double the average roughly number of sales that they generate per customer and reduce their customer acquisition costs. Do you know anyone who fits that bill? I wouldn't go out to market saying, does anyone know anyone who needs a digital marketer? Does anyone know anyone who needs a digital marketing agency or a marketing funnel built for them? I would flip that and I would say, I work with this type of customer who has this type of problem, who wants this type of result. I have some free content for them. Would you mind kind of passing it on to them? Or better yet, give me their information. I'll get in contact with them. That's how I would start out personally. I would write as much content as possible, and I would position myself as an authority, and I would kind of I would take my own medicine. I would have a squeeze page and I would have opt-ins on my site attracting those kind of leads. You are the niche, LB. That's right. What type of content do you use to build trust through emails? Fucking great question, Eric. Let's not overthink this. What type of content, makes it sound so clinical. What type of stories do we tell each other when we're meeting a best friend? When we're getting to know someone and becoming a friend or maybe even a partner? We don't try and impress them, right? People who try to impress people come across as dickheads and they come across as untrustworthy. Instead, if you make them feel like the most interesting person in the world and you empathize with them, that's a really good place to start. I work with authors about to launch their second book. Their problem is that their first book launch was an absolute disaster and they're getting really stressed out about it. After working with us, they not only convert their book into a bestseller, they have a really successful book launch, but they also managed to create a second course. The types of content I would send them via email ideally wants to be your content, but I would empathize with them. Really flip this, man, in your head if you can. If you can start getting illogical and emotional with people and saying stuff like, I know exactly what it must be like for you to launch a book and for it to absolutely suck, and just talk about those problems. I promise you that's a killer email. My most popular emails are the ones where I have a conversation kind of with myself and I tell stories. A little bit of education. I'll try to give as much stuff away as possible. But the more I show people that I care about them and understand them and understand the problems they're going through and kind of sharing in their misery and their success a little bit, the more likely they are to kind of reach out to me and trust me. No worries. Cheers, Beth. Beth, no worries. I will speak to you later. You are the niche, light bulb moment. I've been watching your content for a while, but that's the coin term. Awesome. You are the niche. Maybe I will. Thanks very much, OS. Yeah, I will do that. The free lead magnet should be premium that you can actually sell. It's an advantage over competitors. Most influencers using a physical book as a lead magnet with just the shipping cost. It's a really good point, Gaurav. Yep, the lead magnet could be a premium that you can actually sell. I'd be interested to see what your conversion rates, the data is that you've got for that, because I found that there's actually not a huge amount of difference. It helps massively if we have a lead magnet up there and we say, it's a $47 value or a $9 value. And we've done free plus shipping offers before, where the book is free, but it's $4.99. We've found the conversion rates to roughly be the same. And it's also a massive case of sometimes it's just way easier to put something out there and start kind of getting people signing up to it. The reality, the cold hard reality, is they're not opting in for the book or anything physical. People in the same way that we sell the result and the problem, if we talk to customers and say, hey, I've got a process that's going to help you double your revenue in the next 3 years, or feel confident when talking to your kids, or make sure that you can start disciplining your dog properly so they don't piss all over the carpet or whatever. They don't care about what the product is. That's the cold hard reality. Is they don't actually care what the material is. What they want is the solution. And if you speak to them enough and you understand enough about what it is that they want, they're going to have they're going to be more likely to opt in rather than just saying, oh, this is a book. I agree, it does help, and it's a fantastic way, like I said, with the mag tape, selling something at a low price and getting it out to them. But for the sake of kind of getting started and doing it today, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Right, a few more questions because I have got to go. This has already gone over an hour. Here we go. Right, what are the types of questions? You can't even see me, so I'm gonna do this a little bit so we can read the question and we can see my face. There we go. Lawrence Payne, another one. I'm approaching independent retail shops for lead gen funnels. Considering many of them don't use their social media very well, apart from using a list properly, what sort of questions would you be asking them so you can ascertain if they're ready for that sort of funnel, if they need to get their social media presence sorted first? Great question. These are qualification questions, Lawrence. So what I would ask them is, first of all, what do you need to see from them in order for them to prove that they're worthwhile? And maybe you've already got an idea and you think, actually, typically people who haven't posted once a week for the past 6 months, that's not really for me. And you want to start thinking, what would a customer have to look like who would benefit more than anyone else? So if I had to work with someone, who benefits the most? Is it someone with 10,000 names on their Facebook page or likes or group or whatever, or someone who's got 3,000? Is it someone who posts at least once a day or someone who posts once a week? And chances are you'll start building up those types of questions. I've actually got a kind of an audit thing for Apex campaigns, that like a free worksheet which I could hand out if you shoot me a message or remind me of the comments, and I can answer those sort of questions. It's less about the questions that I would ask, Lawrence, and more the questions of what type of customer would benefit the most from working with you. And it might only be five types of questions, like how often do you post on social media? It probably needs to be once a day. How many page likes do they have? It probably needs to be a few thousand. Are they creating their own content or just sharing it? Have they ever bought likes and shares before? which is actually strictly not a bad thing. But have they ever bought like page likes before? If so, that's probably not a great idea. Those would be the types of questions I ask, and I agree. You absolutely should be checking with them on whether they are ready to buy from you. That's a pretty good question. Right. Will I be doing a lot more live videos? Yeah, we do a lot of videos. Like I'll probably do more as the time goes on. I like doing live videos. It's easy for me to do it, stuff like this. We actually have a training program and weekly coaching, which you can join for a like $1. I think if you go to this link here, gameplan.sellyourservice.co.uk/coaching trial, you can join the coaching program for like $1. It's like a 30-day free trial. It's $197 after that, but it's a super easy way to cancel if you want to cancel. I don't do like upsells or downsells or hide the button. It's just in the profile. You can just click cancel. So yeah, go ahead and sign up and try it if you want to. So I do a live call every single Thursday around 2 o'clock UK time. Um, per every single week, so you can go ahead and join that if you want to check that out. We have a lot of people inside there. Thanks, that's given me the idea. If they're not a good fit, then I can direct them to a free trainer to get themselves sorted. Absolutely. So Lawrence, here's what I would do. I would try and find a load of customers who aren't ready for it, create a digital product for them, even if it's just a short course, sell it to them for a couple of $100 and say, I can help you, but you're not quite at the stage I need you to be at yet. So we have this free training product. It's $200. It's lifetime access. It's a free training course, and just start selling them that. Just because they're qualified out of product A does not mean that they're not suitable for the smaller products. So that's how I would do it. So it's a great idea, but if anything, I would charge them for it. The weekly coaching is awesome. Thank you very much, Paul Smart. Thank you very much. Just to expound a bit, my niche meaning I'm a consultant rather than a sales guy. Uh, I am like a consultant rather than a sales guy, thus long form blog post for authority. I get it. That's exactly it. Awis, that's exactly it. Cool. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. Massively appreciate it. I know that was kind of way longer than I expected it to be. And in the meantime, I will speak to you all later. If you've got any more questions and comments, just put them in the comments down below, both on Facebook and YouTube. And in the meantime, head to gameplan.sellyourservice.co.uk/coaching trial and get your 30 days for like $1, and you can get like 4 or 5 coaching sessions on the group weekly coaching. In the meantime, I'll speak to you all later. Thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, keep building those funnels. Bye, guys. Bye.